Alafia, aho, I say namaste, and thank you for watching Shadow of Wolves. Lots of ashe and blessings and ire to you. But if you have an asobo, remember an asobo always turns into ire if you follow your ibo from whoever gave you the reading. Now, let's continue and let's talk about the long-awaited topic. Today, December 6, 2023, going into the new year, a lot of you have had questions about Obi, which is a divination tool used by Santeros, Babalaos, and Aluo. I'm speaking on behalf of my faith of Lukumi, Santeria, and Maferefuna Rula of Ifa. But I don't speak about Ifa in terms of giving you oduns and signs. I'm letting you know that Babalaos, Aluos, Santeros, and Santeras, priestess and priest who are crown practitioners do use Obi. Tatas and those who are initiated in Palo Mayombe, or some say Palo Mayombe or Palo Monte, so according to their Rama, they use the Chamalongos. Now, in understanding that, there is a difference, and they're two separate energies. We're going to stay very strongly on the topic of Obi, its history as well as its story. So buckle up and let's go for a ride as we will go down the history and memory lane of how Obi came to be. We will also touch some of the issues of Chamalongos. Why? Because sometimes these are misused because they're not being explained, guys. They're not being demonstrated by the godparent, the leader, or people around the world. So let's clear up a lot of misunderstandings as we begin, and welcome back to my channel. Please be aware of imposters. Please be careful. I'm not going to solicit you for a reading. Those who need a reading know to go to my description box, look and get my other phone number, message me, get in touch with me. My readings are through word of mouth, whoever a Chosi and my spirits bring in and they want to have a reading. I will never solicit for a reading. And also, readings are also done like you're seeing me face to face or in video call, okay? So they're never through an email or through someone else to do it. We will be having a conversation, all right? So please be careful of that, because there's someone scamming people on TikTok and Instagram. And one of the people, they use the term @_Shadow of Wolves 777. I am the real Shadow of Wolves. Yes, they stole my video, and you know they're going by Cash App name Priscilla Lopez and crazy stuff. Listen, for you guys to be safe, to know that when practitioners like myself have a pure heart in helping people, if I can't help you, I'm going to tell you. So, for example, if you want me to do, or you're requesting, oh, I need black magic because this, I don't know, man. Go find somebody else. There's plenty of people. So, listen, I have a limit to what I do. And I'm not going to just do a spiritual job or spiritual work or anything without currently diagnosing you first, without going through an assessment and see where I have to pinpoint to help you out, okay? So please understand that. Now, let's continue, as this is a beautiful story about Pataki, about Obi. Let's go to your questions. There are different divination tools. In Santeria, we use Obi. Why is it that those who are crowned, or Babalaos, okay, or Luos, those that are crowned in Orisha faith, have the blessing of using Obi? I'm not going to give the secrets, but there's even part of the ceremony that the person does. So the actual initiate, the Aleo, does when they have Obi. I'm not going to go into that part. But when we are doing our mayubas and we're doing our prayers, we have to not only give thanks to God first. So it's not just, oh, you know, praise God or hey, alofi, or you have to say your mayubas, and you have to say them in blessings of God to your ultimate best way. I'm tired of people really cracking down on every instant of every adjective to be of perfection And then I go in a Santo room and I work a Santo and I'm lifted to an Ocha and I'm looking at elders who are afraid to say their mayubas out loud and they're praying over the head because there's so many people critiquing. That's not what we're here for. All we have to do is after we get crowned, with the help of our godparent, is to study the mayuba. That's it. There's a hierarchy from God to all and all Orun to our angels, which I'm not. If you know the prayer and you're crowns, then you will know it. If you don't know it, then please message me or leave a comment and I will help you. All right. Not trying to solicit you, but I'll give you the page. Those who do not have their crown yet, please be patient and wait for your godparent. Now, when you do your mayubas, you have to kinkamache, which is in sending blessings to your godparent and to your elders who have been in your ceremony, your godparents, godparent, and so forth. That's part of it. When you're doing an ibaye Tunu, or they say layen Tunu, ibaye layen Tunu, it is your choice. Those are people who have passed away. Your grandparents, your elders from your ile, your elders, the founders of Santeria, who traveled from Africa to Cuba and so forth, okay? So this is why Obi is very important, because prayers, refreshing the ground, is done first. And when you're doing these prayers, you have to do it from your heart. You have to practice it. If you have someone critiquing you and saying, I heard someone yell at someone, they said, Omi Tutu, Ana Tutu. No, it's Ona Tutu. Like, yo, dude, calm down. Just chill. We getting this. They're going to get it, all right? So the Orisha knows what's in your heart. So now when you're doing this and you're working with Obi, some people like me, I don't like fingernails. I just don't like them because I do so much spiritual work and I dig in the soil and I do so many things. I personally don't like nails, okay? I'm also been traumatized with fingernails. So with my natural nails, it's really hard. Some people pick, some people bite a little bit, and I don't want to get into the depths of this. You need to understand Obi. These things are not to be messed with unless you are crowned after the year and 7 days. Now, why is Obi so important? Obi is important because we're doing yes and or no questions. You cannot ask something elaborate and then be like, so am I going to travel to Brazil and come back and dance? And this is what, you have to be very specific in yes or no, straight up, okay? Now, when the answers are not clear, it may come out Itagua, but I'm not going into that, then you ask again. You must be skilled and professional and very wise to throw Obi, okay? Before I go into the history of Obi and blessings, always with the hikara and the water to refresh the ground. Obi is never divined on the table. Obi is never given like it is in a reading. Oh, well, no. The reading is the dilogun, and the dilogun is usually cast with Obi in a ceremony on what we call estera, or a straw mat. The straw mat represents Africa, represents Echu, and everything on that mat tells the truth. It's never a lie. Now, anybody trying to critique my channel or be disrespectful or try to steal my ache and get people to follow them, your comment will be deleted and blocked, because I don't have time for drama, and I am too wise, too old, too loved, too blessed to deal with drama. That's of the past, okay? So now in going through this and understanding, let's talk about Chamalongos. This is a very powerful tool also, but it also represents the dead. That's right. What did I say? Our ancestors, the dead, Palo Mayombe. When you receive these, after your tata scratches you and your yayi, they initiate you in Palo, you receive the blessing of your Chamalongos. Now, they are prepared and they are done and they are given to you, okay? That tata, that yayi, and people from your Rama, your house of Palo, rightfully so, with the supervision of your elder, will teach you how to read this divination tool. Now, when reading this divination tool, you do your prayers to Zombie. You do your prayers for Lucero Mundo. You do your prayers in opening the roads. You do your prayers as they taught you. And then you ask. Now, I've noticed, and I don't know how true it is, I've seen some videos where some tatas, they have shown 7 Chamalongos. Every house is different. From my knowledge and awareness, there are 4. Now, if they're doing 7, that's fine. Like I said, change the channel or do what you got to do, because we're not here for nobody to be critiquing and bugging. Okay? So when you're using these, the same way, it's important to know that you are working with your Palo spirits. You are working with those spirits that are in your court of Palo, and you're asking. This is also a very powerful and divination tool. A lot of the way they are thrown, to be honest, we're not mixing because there's different prayers and it's a different energy, are very, very similar. But that's for your godparent to teach. They are very similar. And how they are shaped when they are thrown, they're very similar as well in terms of understanding yes or no. I didn't say they were the same. I said they were similar. Now, please, those of you who are watching and understand the sacrifice that I have, the hard work that I put into my videos, the time and effort, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell to continue so that my channel will grow, and it will also prompt my spirits and prompt me to do more videos, please. Okay, so don't forget to smash that like button, to share if you want to comment, and so forth. Now, as we're going over this, there is a part of Orisha ceremony in which Babalaos use this to throw to Egun, especially when they're hitting the stick and they say, they're singing to Egun, okay? I'm not going to get into it because I was going to sing, but I want to get into the story of Obi. So when they're doing this, the women turn their back and they're hitting the stick. Aumba waori, aumba waori, awaosun, awaoma, lerio ma, leao, bobo egun kawe. When they are singing, as soon as they are divining and they're using this to ask Egun, especially before an Orisha ceremony, because Egun comes first, the women turn their back and they throw this divination, okay? So do know that that is used for that part. When you have your tata, your yayi, or those of you who are scratched, rayao, and have been initiated, these beautiful divination tools are casted to ask your spirit yes or no, okay? So we don't use this for Orisha. No. Where's the life? Where is the Orisha that was once that's called Obi? Doesn't. Nope. It's a different energy, guys, okay? Now, let's continue on and let's talk about Obi. This is very important. Obi was an absolutely beautiful, magnificent Orisha with the perfection of Alofi. He had beautiful, shiny, amazing, dark black skin and wore the clothes that were vesseled in the most whitest white and silk and silver that you've ever seen. Obi not only wore the beautiful white clothes and had a beautiful, pure heart, but he was also in perfection of carrying an abundance of white, shiny aura. As he moved around, there was not one Orisha, not one human being, because there were humans that saw him and they were just in awe. So they used to beg him for money. They used to beg him for food. And Obi, being so pure and so beautiful, was an amazing Orisha that gave his money out, helped the poor, helped the sick. Alofi was so proud and loved Obi so much because of Obi's amazing, beautiful character. Not only did his black skin shine with glory, created by Obi, but his clothes did not have one wrinkle. Over time, Obi became arrogant. Obi became, in his mind, untouchable. The town, even the Orisha, looked at Obi in awe because he was just too beautiful. However, he lost being humble. In understanding the life lesson of Obi, let's continue on. Get ready for a long video. Stay tuned for those who are appreciating this knowledge. In understanding Obi, Olofi was planning for a very big party in his palace. All of the Orisha attended. All of the people were outside, especially the people who were sick, especially the people who were of need. And when Obi saw them outside asking for food and everything, and they also intermingled in Olofi's house, Obi became disgusted, and he said, "Oh, these vagabonds, these disgraceful people." The Orisha were also moved by Obi's change in character. Never lose sight that what comes up can go right down. Never lose sight and never frown on anyone, because your frown can go against you and your smile can turn to a frown. Therefore, the grace of God go I. Now, Obi looked and he saw all the Orisha attending, and they were at the palace and they were enjoying Olofi's company. So Obi decided, I am going to have a party myself, and I will invite everyone to my palace, and only the Orisha are invited. So everybody was walking in and walking in. All the Orisha was walking in, and all those who were poor, even middle class, were outside and admiring the beauty of the Orisha, all their extravagant clothes or their aura, whatever they were looking at, they were loving it. But Obi was not loving it. He was disgusted and became disgraced by the people who had no money or food or clothes. This is a good Christmas, right on time, December 12th, 2023. So Obi now turns around and says nobody else is let in but Orisha. So there's a knock on the door, clunk, 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 and Obi sees a person who looks very poor to him, and he calls a vagabond, a vagrant, all the vile words that you can imagine, and he slams the door and he walks away. He was so into himself and so into his beauty and his clothes and his skin and his hair. Wow. Chango, Yemaya, Agayu, looked and said, what? So Elegua, Ma Telefone Elegua, turns around and says, Obi, do you realize who was at the door? You slammed the door on Olofi, our father? Obi was so into himself and so emotional and distraught trying to put on a good time in a show that he forgot who was who. So then the knock came again, really faint. Clock, clock, clock. He opens the door, and there stands Olofi. He was still in shock, mind you. All the Orishas humbly, Moforibai, Eule, they threw themselves for him to lift them up. Obi just stood there. Olofi walked over to Obi, and he said, Obi, you were one of my greatest Orishas in creation. I am very disappointed to see how you lost being so humble. I made you so cool as you shined. Your whiteness over your aura shines. Your blackness and your beautifulness just shine through your skin. Everything is so beautiful. I made you perfect. But I never thought that you would lose your perfection. From now on to this very day, you will drop and fall from grace. So this is why you see the coconuts drop from the palm tree, from the coconut tree, you will drop and fall from grace. And you will be used as a divination tool for humans, for those who are initiated in front of their Orisha, to define and throw you to the floor. How I will give you mercy, Obi, because that was his name, Orisha Obi. How I will give you mercy, Obi, is that I will allow those who are using the divination tool of you to be able to remove asobos as they become ire. I will allow the floor to be refreshed for you. But I'm going to show you how you are hard and cold on the outside. So the coconut that we use in our divination tool, and I'm going to get into the other part, is hairy and hard and brown, right? We make these, okay? Hairy, hard, and brown. But the inside is still white and shiny and creamy and sweet. So I will never cast you all the way, but you have fallen from grace. So now you're going to learn to be humble, because santeros, santeras, all those crown, babalao, aluo, they'll be able to throw you to the floor. So you'll never forget to be humble. This applies also to the same pataki as the kola nut. The kola nut on the outside, they cut it open, they cut it in four. The only difference is that Obi is transcended into the new world from Cuba, from Africa, Cuba, and here to the United States. But Obi is a very powerful in respect to Obi. But Alofi said, you're going to learn to be humble. You're going to be hard on the outside and rough like you are, and putting people down and discriminating. I think the worst thing that you could do is really go out your way to verbally or physically hurt someone. Sometimes we say things we don't mean, but when you put someone down because they have less than you, Alofi, you may say Allah, you may say Jehovah, you may say Elohim, Yahweh, you may say whoever you say, God of Abraham, will always hear your words. And remember, just as you win, you lose. Just as you lose, you win. Stay humble. Stay humble. So he said, they will crack you open. They will cast you. And you will make the asobos. Anything that comes out in the sign that needs to be done, that looks like it's not so good. Or you will win the ires. Because when we have a sobo, the beauty of Obi, and those of you know what a sobo is, we'll get into it later. It can change at a sobo. Say, for example, this person is sick, and you say, okay, you throw Obi, and they do a divination, and they ask, well, can they take a white bath? Maybe Obi may say yes. Okay, so they're also, Obi is forced to pray for someone and to give them blessing, and they're supposed to tell the truth. This is why the divinity and the oracle is very, very important with skilled practitioners, because this is nothing that we mess with. Not only we do something in the Orisha room, in the Ocha room, that we got to do some things, and I'm not going to talk about, which introduces us to that and gives us that ache, but also to know that this is very serious, because Obi learned to become humble. He had no choice. That's the wrath of God. That's the wrath of Alofi, okay? But on the positive note, Obi has also given us the blessing to work with this beautiful divination tool. Now, when we're working with Chamalongos, this also comes from the coconut. These are actually really, these are old. I've had these, gosh, I don't know how long. So many years. And that's why they're so big, because they're very old. Still the same concept, okay? But with all respect to our ancestors, to the dead, in Palo, there's no life. So you don't pick from it. This is why this is not used for Orisha. Now, you all have a choice to do whatever the heck you want. I'm telling you, you're watching this channel, you want me to guide you, this is how it goes. It's not how we want it. Obi did things how he wanted. He got into the worst trouble ever. So, stay tuned for the next video to go over these other divination tools and to understand them. There's so many different ways. So if you guys who are watching this, if you're not yet crowned in Orisha faith and you don't have rites of passage to practice this beautiful tool, or you're not scratched, okay, all right, or you're not on the other side, this is what you can do. There are other tools. There's oracle cards, tarot reading, crystals, shells, bones. But I don't want to make this video. It's been 25 minutes. It's one of the longest. I hope that those of you who enjoyed this video, that once again, you hit that like button, subscribe, share, comment. And I thank you all for taking the time out to watch this video. I wish there was more I could think of. Nothing is ever perfect. And that's what Obi, we should learn from that. He should realize that he's not perfect, but he learned to be humble. He had no choice. We don't want to be put in a position where we have no choice but to be humble. We are blessed to be able to try and do our best and always be truthful. As we get older, we change, we regrow, we regenerate ourselves, and we learn to be honest and humble. Alafia, aho, ase, namaste, and ashe, and blessings to all of you. With blessings going into the new year, stay tuned for more videos. Ashe.